What's good, my little committee? Welcome back to another lovely, beautiful, sexy, amazing video with the equally lovely, equally beautiful, equally sexy, and equally amazing lit tie. You already know what time it is. Now let's go. Now, we've been hit with a bit of a shock this week because wow, I did the review for 6ix9ine's latest album and Big Sean's latest album, and in my review I said 6ix9ine was probably going to debut at number 1 because it looked like the sales, the streams, it was running it. It looked like his fans was running it up for him. He was expected to sell, I think it was 140 or 50k or something like that, and Big Sean was expected to only sell like 120k. So it looked like 6ix9ine beat him. And then it seemed that Billboard changed the rules of how they process album sales, meaning you can no longer use bundles to count towards your album sales. I know this was a tactic used by Nicki Minaj and Travis Scott, and obviously Travis Scott won and he beat Nicki Minaj to the number 1 when her album was dropping with Astroworld, and I think she dropped the week after him or something like that. It was something like that. And Nicki was complaining, saying that Billboard shouldn't be counting that. And then I know there was that country singer, I can't remember his name, but I'll have a picture of him there. And he beat Drake to the number 1 spot on Billboard this year with his Dark Lane demo tapes, because the guy basically, when he was selling the album, he basically put up a quote unquote fake tour and said, you know, buy tickets to my tour, come in next year, and then you get a free album with it. Everyone bought the tickets thinking they were going to the tour, and then once he got the number 1 spot, the whole tour was cancelled. Everyone gets a refund. And it's like, well, I don't know if everyone got a refund. Don't quote me on that. If you haven't got the refund, let me know. But and it's like he beat Drake to the number 1 spot basically because of that, because he put that he was having a fake album tour. So now, and people were complaining, saying that's not right. I think Nav used the tactic as well. So Billboard was like, nope, okay, starting effective immediately. We are not counting these phony little tactics that you lot think you're using. Like, this isn't, it's not. I'm trying to think of a game where you cheat. It's not Monopoly. It's not Monopoly. You can't steal someone's properties when they go toilet or whatever. Like, you gotta play the game fair. So Billboard said, no, we're not doing that anymore. And then Tekashi's album sales was going to like 60k. And I'm like, Shreki? I'm like, huh? And then shout out Academics for that. And then I'm like, what? I'm like, how did it go from 100? I'm saying, so 100k of his sales was going to come from the bundles. Like, that's crazy. And then it goes down to like 30k. And I'm like, no way. There's no way he's selling 30k. Like, that's ridiculous. And then it started to go back up a bit because I think the fans were like, nah, we have to get him to the number 1 spot. So his fans started riding for him a bit more, pause. And then we now have the final sales projections, and it seems that Big Sean has beat him to the number 1 spot. Big Sean has debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with 111k sales. So I firstly just want to say congrats to Sean. I'm so proud of you. The album was great. So great job. You definitely deserve it. And 6ix9ine has debuted at 55k first week. That's a bit crazy. That is wow. That's wow. I don't know what to say, because see, people are going to be asking, of course, is 6ix9ine's career over? Is he cancelled? Like, and I mean, see, there's a question that I have to go about the right way, you know. I feel like, is he cancelled in a sense of he's not going to be able to drop an album that's going to do as well as Dummy Boy? Yeah, definitely. He's not going to be able to to do those whatever Dummy Boy sold. I'm sure it sold more than 55K, because he just doesn't have those industry, connections anymore. He basically made a whole career out of saying F you to everyone who was a big industry player. He had beef with Ebro in the morning, and now Ebro in the morning has his own. He owns the playlisting, or at least some of the playlisting on Apple Music, I believe. And so, of course, he's not putting any of 6ix9ine songs in the playlist. And putting your songs in the playlist is where you get most of the streams. The New Music Daily on Apple Music, or the Who We Be playlist on Spotify, or Rap Caviar on Spotify, or I can't remember what the Apple Music's one's called. I think it's called Hot New Hip Hop, or it's something like that, or any of those. He's not going to be in any of those playlists, because he's blackballed from the, or he appears to be blackballed from the industry. And obviously a big part of you gaining a #1 album or #1 song or whatever is radio play. And again, a lot of the radio stations in America, at least, he's basically said F you to all of them. Again, if I bring up Ebro again, he owns one of the biggest radio stations in New York, or he's on one of the biggest radio stations in New York. They're not spinning his records. The Breakfast Club, they're not spinning his records anymore. And other radio stations will follow suit, because no one wants to be the one to take the blame for what's happened. No one wants to be the one to take that first blow. That's why when he initially came out, everyone was looking, thinking, who's going to be the first artist that's going to work with him? Who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? Because let's be real, every artist wants to work with him, because they know they're going to get money from that. They know that there's a bag there, but no one wanted to be the first one to do it. And then Nicki did it, and no one really said anything to her. I think I heard Trippie Redd say Nicki Minaj fell off, but I mean, they are in quite two very different caliber of artistry for him to even say that. So I mean, that doesn't really affect her. Yeah, I just think that he's just gonna have to stick to operating. He's gonna here's how he has to move in the future. He's just gonna have to be a singles guy. That's it. I think he's just gonna have to be that type of artist that just has a hot single in the charts every now and then, but doesn't release an album. I think that's what you have to. I think that's how he has to move. If he can just always have that hot single out, where he'll be getting money from YouTube, of course, because he always runs up streams on YouTube, and yeah, well, I can't see where else he would operate. He's not going to operate on radio. He's not going to operate on playlists. So yeah, I guess YouTube is the only way he can really, keep getting his music out there to the wider population. Just operate on music, do some IG live, money moves and stuff like that, and that's what he has to do. Because I think he should just go independent, if I'm being perfectly honest, because he's on a label, and right now in this current era of hip hop, the only thing that a label is really doing is getting you, those type of industry connections, getting you to be on places like Jimmy Kimmel or Saturday Night Live and all that type of industry stuff, or getting you at award shows, performing at award shows and whatever. But he's effectively blackballed himself from all of that. All the people who have the power to put him in those places, they hate him, and I think he hates them. So the label can't really do anything for him. They have no industry connections for him. The label is not really doing anything. All they're doing is probably paying for his music videos, which I'm sure he can afford to pay for himself, especially now with COVID. No one's really going out anywhere to film music videos, and he filmed most of them in his house, didn't he? So while he was on house arrest. So I think he probably should just go indie. Just go indie and see where it takes you. I mean, because right now you and Tory Lanez are probably in one of the worst positions I have ever seen in a hip hop artist. I thought Tyga was in a bad position, but I thought Tiger couldn't make a comeback, and he made a comeback. But you guys, I don't know. I can't see. I can't see you guys making a comeback for this. And by comeback, I don't mean 6ix9ine's fell off, because he hasn't fallen off. At least not in my eyes. Like, he had a #1 song. He's been putting records out that have been doing crazy numbers on YouTube and whatever, and sales and whatever. So I don't think he's fallen off, but it's just he can't make big boy moves. That's if I'm putting it in elementary terms. He can't make big boy moves anymore. And those big boy moves would be, you know, getting on the Jimmy Kimmels and being on Ellen and doing all that stuff that puts you in the stratosphere of artistry, puts you in that Drake level, in that Rihanna level, in that, you know, Travis Scott level. Those are all the things that you need to do to be in that level. And he already claims he's in that level right now. He is, you know, if we're talking about, you know, popularity and how big he is, but if you're talking about really touching the wider audience, you need those industry connections. And because he shitted on all the connections, no one's messing with him. It's a sad but true tale. And it just comes back to something, a very simple premise that you probably got taught in primary school or elementary school. You know, if you put people down while you're on your way up, no one's going to be there for you when you're falling back down. And he shitted on everyone to get to the top. And then now that he's coming back down, everyone's shitting on him. I seen Lil TJ clowning him. I seen Blueface clowning him. I seen Lil Durk clowning him. Everyone's clowning him. And before it was him clowning them. But I guess you have to take it as good as you can dish it out. No homo. But it's sad because, you know, 6ix9ine was making entertaining music, for me at least, before he got incarcerated. So he probably could have done some great things, but that's just what God had intended for him. That was God's plan for him. So he just has to deal with the consequences of his actions. And who knows, maybe in 5 years' time, everyone might just say, you know what? Or maybe he just comes on a remorseful thing and says he's sorry and whatever, and he wants to change, or he makes a song apologizing for his sins or whatever. And maybe in 5 years' time, they're like, you know what? Let's give this guy another chance. And then they do start spinning his records, and he does start making a comeback. Likelihood of that? Unlikely. Very unlikely. But I'm not putting anything past 2020 this year. This year's already been too crazy, as I said. So you never know. But let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think 6ix9ine needs to do now. Has 6ix9ine fallen off? Is it over for him? What does he have to do to get back into the industry and get back to the top that he was once at? And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you agree with what I was saying. And yeah, subscribe, join the Litty committee, because you know we're going to be turned up. And yeah, congrats, Sean, and commiserations, 6ix9ine. And yeah, stay black. And if you're not black, stay whatever race you are. I bet. Peace.
Oh, you ain't know I could sing?